Hello, and welcome to the latest in our line of SMS webinars designed to help you use the products and services that are available. This one is Remote Working Made Secure. So we'll be talking about how you can use the tools and products we have available to work from home and stay safe. Just a little word about us before we get into the nitty-gritty. So SMS, we've been around since 2006, selling cloud services before it was even called the cloud. And we provide a wide range of services, both hosted and Office 365, Microsoft 365, as it's called now. And we also have a range of free of charge solutions, trials, and all sorts of things that you may not be aware of, which we can help you with. And of course, we have a full UK call center with UK qualified people, no transferring calls to India or any of that. And we of course love to hear from our customers and to support you, especially in this difficult time. So today on the call, I have Martin Barber, who is our technical support manager. He's been around for a long time. I think that's fair to say, Martin.
Yeah.
And the guy is an absolute expert on all of this. So if you have any questions that you'd like me to put to Martin during the course of this webinar, feel free to type them into the Q&A box. So Martin, lots of people working from home at the moment, not just because of the COVID, but also because coming up to Christmas, people need to be able to work from wherever they are. So can you tell us a little bit about what's the easiest and best way to access email and Office applications and so on?
Yeah, no problem. Thanks very much. Hello, everyone. So basically, working from home, there's a lot of questions that people ask about it, like how they can access email, how they can access their applications, is it secure? So what we're going to go through now is some of the key features that you can do on what you can actually use to actually work from home. So one of the main things that is the system that you can use is a service called Microsoft Teams. And that allows you to collaborate with anybody in the world that uses Teams on any device. So anything, whether it's Windows or Mac or your phone, that allows you to communicate via. You can call them using Teams to Teams. You can actually make phone calls if you have the right subscriptions to do that. You can also message them, have meetings, do live events such as this, and share files, that kind of thing, which is what we're going to be discussing.
Martin, just a quick one on that.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we're going on to it now. I was going to say, how do people actually get Teams? Does it come with every single Microsoft 365 subscription? Can they get it if they don't have Microsoft 365? How do they get it?
So basically, to get Teams, you would need to have a certain plan, and that is either the Business Essentials, the Premium, or any Enterprise plan. So you won't get it with Online Plan 1 or Online Plan 2. It has to be either a business or enterprise plan, and it is available with them plans. They were doing a 6 month free trial as well during the current lockdown situation. And if you have any questions regarding that, we can discuss that with you. And it is a case of just downloading the client, and then once the subscription's in place, it's just signing in with the login details that we provide you.
Right. So if somebody doesn't, do we need to have 365 to be able to have Teams? I mean, that's a question we get quite a lot.
You need to have a business or enterprise plan, so you would need 365. There is a free one, but it's very, very limited what it can do. We'd recommend that you use the full-blown version of Teams, because that's the one that will actually allow you to use some of the features that we're going to be discussing today.
Okay, so somebody can download Teams and they can get that through SMS and just immediately do audio, video conferencing, all of that kind of stuff.
They can basically do things like chats between people. They can do group calls with people. As long as they have the business or enterprise plans, they can do that. Some advanced features such as the conferencing modes, things like that, you do need additional plans for that to work. And like the phone side of things, you do need to have a business voice plan for that to actually work. But for general messaging and normal meetings, video meetings, that kind of thing, that will work fine with them plans.
Right. Okay. That's pretty good going. So people just need Teams, presumably microphone, which is normally in a laptop, and a camera, and then they can work from home, call people. Can they communicate? Can they do this kind of thing with people not in their organization? So can they have external calls and so on?
They can do it. They can do external calls with people. They can actually communicate with external people. So when they arrange a meeting, for example, or even if it was not a meeting, you can add external people to the list. As long as them external people have Teams, then you can actually communicate with them. I myself have some external contacts on my own Teams account that I can communicate with, whether that's video or voice, and you can do the same thing as they would be if they were working in your organization. That service just needs to be enabled for external access, but it's literally just a tick box that you click and that's it, basically, to turn that on.
Right, okay. So if somebody watching this doesn't have Microsoft 365 at the moment, maybe they've got Hosted Exchange, Gmail, something else, if they contact us, we can set them up with what they need to get Teams.
Exactly. Yeah. If they call the sales team, they'll get that up and running. Then the support team can guide them through what they need to do to get up and running and get basically logged in and start using the Microsoft Teams service. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so obviously the meetings is the main thing that people are going to want to do working from home. Can you do video and audio? Can you just do audio if you don't want me to? If I don't want to bore people with my face, can I do audio only? Or
yeah, you can. So you can basically do both. You can either do audio or audio and video. A matter of fact, when you do an audio call, if you do an audio meeting, you do have the choice to turn video on or off. So you can actually, or if people that don't have a webcam, because there is still some users out there that will have a desktop with no camera, they can still take part in it. They just obviously don't have the video, they just have the audio, that's it.
And obviously, as this slide is saying, you can record a meeting to play back later.
That's correct. Yeah. So basically, in any meeting that you do with your clients or with your customers, you can basically set it to be recorded. So what that'll basically allow you to do is it will record the whole session, and then at the end of it, you can actually request the recording, and it's just a download that you can download and view at a later date. Yeah.
So we could make a tutorial, for example, for one of our products or services, and put that onto the website later.
You could do, yeah. So whatever you were doing in the meeting, whether it was using like a whiteboard session or something like that, you could actually get the video and use that as a learning video on your website or or a training program, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So just before we go on to this one, I've heard that Zoom, which I guess is the alternative, has a load of security issues that people can get into your meeting and without you inviting them and all sorts of stuff like that. I mean, should I be worried about it with Teams or not?
Not with Teams, no. Teams, you can actually lock it down. You can actually set it so nobody can communicate externally. Through policies within the admin for Teams, so you can actually restrict what people do. So you can restrict certain people being able to make external calls if you set if you add your own policy to it, basically. So that's what makes Teams a lot better than things like Zoom and the other services out there. It's very customizable. You can make it do pretty much most things to lock down and only give access to certain people what they can and can't do.
Right. Okay. So there's not many or any security issues that you're aware of using for remote working using Teams.
There's nothing that I've come across while using it now. No.
Okay, because I know a lot of people have been worried about that with Zoom and so on. So, okay. So how hard is it? I mean, you've gone into quite a lot of techie detail there. I mean, in terms of just starting a simple chat or video call, is it easy?
Yeah, it's very easy. It's literally a case of selecting the person that you want to call from the list. If they're not in the list, you can just enter their email address that they've got, as long as they're a Teams user. And then there's an icon for a phone and an icon for a camera. One does audio, the camera does the video, and you just click that and it dials them, and that's it. And as long as they obviously answer the other side, you'll be able to then communicate with each other.
And if somebody sends me a link and says, please come to this Teams meeting, I assume it's just a simple matter of once Teams installed, just clicking on the link.
Yeah, you click on the link and what will happen is it will actually open in Teams. Sometimes it will open a browser and it'll say, you want to run this in the Teams or do you want to run it on the web? You just select in Teams and then it will open up Teams. and that's basically it. And then the meeting will just start. You just have to accept it, and it'll just start.
Okay, that sounds easy. And does the other person need to be on? And it may be a stupid question, but does the other person need to be on Teams as well, or can they just have a phone? Or
if it's a meeting, you can send them an option where they can dial into it. So you'll get a unique number for your particular account. It is a UK number that you ring up, and it'll ask you for a pin. You put the pin in, and then it'll basically join you into the meeting. A bit like the old days where they used to have conference calls where it was literally just a case of dial in on a phone. It's very much like that.
Oh, okay. So I really could use this as a complete replacement for that sort of conference room phone, that old style phone in the middle of the table.
Exactly, yeah, you can do. Yeah, it's very much it's very flexible. There is plenty of options for people to use it if they don't have Teams and they want to join a meeting. They can just, like I say, they can just call in, and then they can basically just get onto the meeting.
Okay, that sounds easy. So what else can we do once we're on this meeting? I mean, I was on one the other day, and people were sharing all sorts of stuff and sending files and all sorts of things like that, with all sorts of crazy stuff. Which is really useful in a sort of business environment. So how do we do that?
So yeah, so one of the options in a meeting is there is a document collaboration feature, and all that basically allows you to do is share things like what we're doing today. So a PowerPoint presentation or a Word document or Excel or whichever document you want to be able to collaborate with within the meeting. And that is literally a case of within the meeting, there is an option that says share. And there's also there's an icon as well, which is like the sharing icon, which is normally the picture of a screen with an arrow pointing upwards. You click on that and it'll give you an option what you want to share, whether it's on your local machine or in whichever directory you want to share it from. And that's how simple it is. And you select the file, and then it will basically appear within the meeting, and then you can actually work on that together.
Oh, that's okay. That's fantastic. And again, that's secure. Nobody else from outside is going to be able to get that file or anything.
No, only people on the meeting will be able to see you. And you can also, as well, if you don't want people to be able to edit it, they have to request control. So the author of the document, the person that's sharing it, they're in control of who they give access to. So if you want to be able to work on it together, the person that's viewing it has to request control to actually make changes, and then it's up to the person that's sharing it to give them access to do that. So it is very restrictive on that front.
All right, fantastic. What have we got next? So okay, so more about sharing files on here. Yeah. Attach and recent options. So you can use obviously OneDrive. And what is OneDrive? Where does it? How do we get that?
So OneDrive is basically Microsoft's version of like Dropbox. So basically it's an online storage platform that sits inside SharePoint. So what it basically does is it allows you to store any form of document that you can either share just so it's for your own eyes, or you can share it with other people within the organization, and it's very secure. Your files are safe within there, but it also allows you to share things in emails. So if you've got the Office suite, it does give you an option to say, do you want to share from OneDrive? And you can do things like that, and you can share things in Teams, and it's available on business plans and the enterprise plans. You can buy it as an individual product if you've got, say, Online Plan 1, because that doesn't come with it. So you can buy OneDrive as a separate product if required. But it may work out better to buy the full-blown business plan. In the long run, you get a lot more options as well. But that's basically what OneDrive is.
Okay, so can it back up my computer as well?
It can't back your computer up, but you can. There is an option in the actual OneDrive client that allows you to do things like your desktop and your local documents folder. So you can back them up, but you can't back your whole machine up. You'd have to. The only way to do that is to use like a third-party application, and then the backup you could then upload it to OneDrive. But it won't do like a whole backup of the machine. No, it's mainly designed for documents, photos, videos, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So let's say I've got a sales folder that at the moment I keep on my machine, and I sort of share out to people in the office. If I put that folder in OneDrive, then everybody could access that from wherever they are, home, out on the road by a phone or whatever, completely securely. Only they can see it.
Yeah, you can set the permission levels that you want. So, for example, you could say, right, well, I want Joe Blogs to only be able to read it and not write to it. So you can set permissions to that level. You can disable the sharing link, because when you share a document, you'll get a sharing link, which is publicly accessible. You can turn that off, so it's completely locked down. So only the people on the list can view the documents, and then you can say, well, I want them to edit it as well. So you can actually lock it down to certain people be able to edit and certain people can only read. So there is that full control on it.
Okay, oh, fantastic. I like the sound of that. Oh, new Teams features. Okay, this looks good. I haven't seen these yet. So what's new, Martin?
Okay, so there is several new features that have come out throughout the year during the lockdown. Two of the features that are on here at the minute is breakout rooms. So basically that allows like meeting participants to split into smaller rooms. So if you're doing like brainstorming sessions, you can have individual rooms for certain cluster of people. So if you have a training session for a whole company and everyone's split down into say you have 10 staff and you have 5 in the morning and 5 in the afternoon, you can split these down into what's known as breakout rooms, so that you can basically, it's like a little it's like a virtual meeting room basically in the cloud that people can basically join, and then they can share and collaborate together, like a brainstorming type scenario basically.
We needed that about 2 weeks ago, Martin, when we had that brainstorming session at SMS.
I know, yeah. It was a bit too late though, so it's only just come out. Yeah. So, and one of the other features is the meeting recap features. Basically, what that allows now is every meeting will now be recorded and transcribed. So it basically allows anyone that's missed a meeting can now basically take part in what they've missed, so they can actually see what's been recorded, what's actually gone on. And because before that used to be something that you had to turn on, it's now something that's turned on by default. So it'll actually, on every meeting, it will now do that.
So that's an automatic thing. So as you're talking in a meeting, there's some artificial intelligence at Microsoft End which is going to transcribe that onto the screen.
Yeah, basically what it does is it records the video into obviously a video file, and then you get like a separate document with the transcribed context of that meeting. Wow. So you can then download it and read, but effectively read it effectively, just like a Word document type thing.
I'll have to be more careful what I say in meetings.
Yeah, the only other feature that I've not mentioned on here, because I've only just found out about it myself, is Microsoft Teams is coming to CarPlay for Apple users. Oh. So anyone that's got Apple devices and got CarPlay in the car, they will soon be able to use the Teams phone functionality within the car as well.
So I can't get away from meetings even in my car?
No, you can't. But there is loads of different features coming out all throughout the year. These are just some of the main key ones that I wanted to mention today.
Okay. So, yeah, getting on to security, which is what everybody is really worried about these days, and rightfully so. So if you can just go down the sort of types, don't spend ages on it, but because I think we probably all know most of them. But so malware I think we hear this a lot. Malware. Well, what is it?
So malware is basically a set of different types of things like viruses, like Trojans, spyware. It's like an assortment of nasty software, basically, is the best way to describe it.
And what does it actually do?
It can really affect a company. As a matter of fact, it's actually caused companies to go out of business because it can take control of your own data. So it can infect your files, but with viruses. It can even do things like send out emails to all your contacts with whatever they want to say on it. If you get something like ransomware, they can literally hold your files to ransom until you pay the amount of bitcoins they want. And obviously, if that happens, most of the time people don't bother paying it. They just say, it's gone, and that's some businesses. That's the business over. So malware is it's just a name for a broad range of different types of infections that you can basically get.
How does it get onto the computer in the first place?
So the main cause of a virus on a machine is people clicking links in an email or opening an attachment. So you might get an email which looks like it's from a legitimate source, and you click on that link, and in fact that link redirects to a dodgy website that downloads the virus onto the machine.
And it's that easy.
And it's that easy.
Wow.
I've seen it myself over the years. That's how simple it is. or you'll get an attachment. The biggest one is the ones from HMRC. People assume that it's genuine. They'll open the attachment and it's actually a Trojan. Once it's on your machine, it's on there. You know, the only way you're going to get rid of that is to either flatten the machine or run some extensive virus scanning software to remove it.
I guess as you were saying there, sharing devices with householders, we might have a household laptop. You don't know what anybody else has done or gone to, and there could be something downloaded in the background taking your details or.
Exactly, yeah. So there's things like keyloggers. So if a keylogger gets on your machine, that it'll record any keystroke that you do. So that means your passwords will be harvested, and that's how serious it could actually get. So it's a key that obviously when you're working from home, to be security minded. And this is why there is certain aspects of services that you can take out to prevent this from happening.
Okay, so what can we do about it?
So there's basically a number of things that you can do. So for the spam side of things, to prevent infections coming through from email, we have a service called Future Spam, and what that allows you to do is basically an advanced anti-spam service which will filter all incoming email for viruses and spam, and it will filter out any viruses that come in, and then effectively it just filters them, and that stops them going on your machine. If it gets an email which it thinks is genuine, it will then put it into a quarantine area which you can actually view at a later date, and you can, if you know it's genuine, you can release it. If not, you can leave it and it'll just stay as it is. Now from the Future Spam service onwards, there is actually a service called ATP, which is Advanced Threat Protection, and what that basically does is it uses multiple virus scanning engines to scan every email coming in real time. Because you could, the default scanning engine could effectively say there's no virus in this, but there could be three other scanning engines that ATP detect as it being a virus. So that's what ATP does. It's an advanced level of antivirus protection for emails that are coming in. So it literally just scans the whole thing. It scans things like links as well. So if it sees a link that's dodgy, it will say, this is dodgy, we're not allowing you to click on this link, or we're not allowing you to filter this through. So that's the main two features, so the Future Spam service and ATP.
Okay, now I had a problem a couple of years back because although I had anti-spam and antivirus on my computer, I didn't have it on my phone. So an email got through to my phone before it got to the computer, and that had malware in it. So I'm guessing from what you're saying that this hasn't got that problem because it's scanning before it gets to my phone or computer or anything.
Exactly, yeah. So what this does is it's the first point of entry to your email account. So anything that basically gets emailed to you is filtered first. So any devices that you've got set on is behind the filter. So basically, if you've got a phone, it means that the emails are going to be filtered well before they even enter your phone. So it's actually, in a way, it's better than having any protection on your machine. You still need it on your machine because there's other threats out there, but it's like the first point of protection for email.
Oh, okay, well, fantastic. Anything else that we should do with email?
Yeah, I mean, there's another thing that you can take out called Azure Information Protection, or AIP as they call it.
What's Azure?
So basically, Azure is Microsoft's cloud-based service, which basically has things like storage and Active Directory and SQL servers and things like that inside it. It's quite an advanced product, but one of the services that's inside it is an information protection service, and what that allows you to do is encrypt emails and mark documents and mails as sensitive, so only certain people can see them. And obviously if you encrypt the emails, then it's encrypted both end to end, so it's completely, so when they receive it at the other side, if they're not using Outlook, they have to literally click a link to actually view it through a separate sort of portal area, and they'll basically be emailed a code that they can actually see that file.
Okay, I think I've heard of this, and I think you can do things like you can sort of tag a document and say this is only for the accounts department, or this is only for board members, or so on.
Exactly, yeah, you can do that with it. So you can actually protect documents and emails that say, right, only the finance team can see this, only the board can see this, only only support engineers, for example, can see it. So you can actually restrict certain documents and emails for certain people to see. Yeah, that's right.
What about mobile devices?
Mobile devices is, you would need a service called Intune. So what Intune allows you to do is it allows you to enable this service onto your devices, and what it does is as an admin, they can restrict what you can do. So this is great for admins of companies, because they can restrict what they're doing when they're working from home. So they can restrict access to certain things, like they can, when they're working on work related stuff, they can restrict things, access to the camera, so they can't take confidential information and then obviously sell it on or whatever. But they can, it's also, as well as it encrypts the connection between the phone and 365. So it's effectively a mobile management service, so you can manage what the user can do on the service. And there is a lot more people starting to use the Intune service for organizations and to protect personal data.
Right. So perhaps for maybe a larger company, but I mean, it sounds like it's something that's mega expensive and you'd have to buy it for 1,000 users. I mean, is that the case, or is it not that bad nowadays?
No, it's basically per user. So you can have, if you've got 10 users and you only have 3 people working from home, you can just add the license to the 3 users.
Okay.
You don't have to add it to every single person. I would highly recommend it if you do have users that are working from home, that do have that are using their personal devices like iPads and tablets and phones, things like that, for company information, because it is something which espionage does go on. So it's something that can prevent that from happening.
Brilliant. Okay, so let's just talk about all this stuff that we do from home and like sharing devices and writing passwords on post-it notes and sticking them to the screen and all that. So yeah, I mean, what you're saying there is right. Normally I have a work computer that's just mine, but now I'm just using a laptop that's getting thrown around the house. So what do I need to be aware of?
So you just need to be aware of anything that's on it that could be confidential. The main thing is passwords. So you need to basically make sure that your passwords are kept somewhere safe, and I don't mean on a bit of paper. I mean in like a separate password vault, because obviously if that password is exposed, then it could lead to things like data breaches of client information, and that could be catastrophic for most businesses, especially small businesses. They wouldn't exist because they just get completely sued.
I've heard of something called a password manager, like 1Password or LastPass or something.
Yeah, I mean, they're 2 of the services you can get. If you're an Apple user, they have their own password vault built into iCloud, and what that basically does is it stores your passwords, it encrypts them so nobody can see them. You can then obviously log in and obviously see them yourself, so you can log in. But what it allows you to do is when you go to websites, it will actually quote, it will actually come up with the login form. You can actually select the password for that particular account to log in. And on most devices these days, especially on Apple and Mac and stuff, if you've got biometrics to do it, you have to actually use your fingerprint to actually get the password from the vault in order to sign in. So that's another level of protection there as well.
And these things are cheap, aren't they? Like £2 a month or something.
Yeah, they're not massively expensive from what I've seen, but there's something where we would always highly recommend, because there's more and more people there's a lot of people that keep passwords in books, and that, I mean, if the way you got to look at it is, would you keep your PIN number for your bank card in a book, that's lying around? That's how you got to look at it. Nowadays, as long as someone's got a password and an email address, they can literally do whatever they want. They can literally take over your life if they know what they're doing. So you really have to be careful about where passwords are stored, and I would highly recommend storing them in some sort of encrypted vault that only you have access to.
Okay, well, that's good advice, Martin. What about Wi-Fi? In the old days, we were just all using cables, but now we're all using Wi-Fi, and I'm sure I'm not alone in wondering if people can sort of tune into that and see what we're doing. And
yeah, so with Wi-Fi, the recommended thing is, I mean, it would be to basically make sure that you're using a secure Wi-Fi's hotspot instead of an unsecure one.
So just on that one, when you say a secure Wi-Fi spot, do you mean that if somebody has, say, a BT home hub or something like that, is that secure enough, or is that open to the world, or what?
It's any Wi-Fi hotspot that requires a password. So usually the ones that you have in your house will have a password to sign into them. When I mean open ones, I mean like if you go to a coffee shop and it doesn't ask you for a password, it just signs in. They can be unsecure, because obviously if people know what they're doing, they can effectively sign in, and they can actually see the traffic between you and the actual hotspot itself. So
Really?
they can intercept the data.
So if I'm at a coffee shop or something that's not asking for a password, I've got to be a bit wary about that.
You've got to be a bit wary. There is other services that you can take out to prevent it, such as VPNs and things like that. They will help with that situation.
What about turning Wi-Fi off and just using the cell signal in that case?
But you could in fact just turn the Wi-Fi off, and as long as you've got either 4 or 5G coverage, then that's going to be adequate for what you need for email and documents and stuff. It's going to be fast enough for what you need.
Right, fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay, what about passwords? I can see you've got a slide on that now.
Yeah.
I mean, I keep on hearing so much advice. People say replace the E's with C's and all the rest of it, or use capital letters. And I was reading an article the other day that said you can't. All of those have now been cracked, and you just can't use that.
Yeah. So basically, going back to what I've just said regarding password, the best password to use is something that you can remember, but it's not based on like your kids' names or where you live or your date of birth or a place. Personally, I would always have passwords with upper and lowercase characters, special characters, and obviously numbers in them. But you have to put something that isn't easy to guess, because that's the main thing with it. Myself, I normally use between 12 and 16 character passwords normally. I think anything from over 8 is normally suited is fine. But I would definitely use something which is going to be like a random word that you know you're going to remember, but it's like a random word that's going to be very difficult to guess, because a lot of people use password 1 or 123, or they use the kid's name or something like that, something that's publicly that you can effectively get off Facebook. I mean, that's literally is a no-go area. So you really need to use something that's going to be something random, but it's also secure at the same time, and what you can remember, because there's no point having a password you can't remember. I mean, I know if you use a password vault such as 1Password, it will remember it for you. But if you're not wanting to use something like that, you're going to have to know what password it is and try and not use the same password on every site that you use, because.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me. So, I mean, is there something better? I mean, I know that the credit card companies now start texting me when I log in, even with a proper password. They'll text me and say, you know, do you want to do this transaction? Is there anything like that? Any sort of additional authentication devices? Or?
Yes. So on 365, there is a service called multi-factor authentication, or just MFA. It used to be a service that was you had to pay just to even enable the basic one. Now the basic one is free to all. So basically, as long as you've got a 365 account, you can turn that on, and what that allows you to do is use different methods to sign in. So the main method is the Microsoft Authenticator app. And what that allows you to basically do is when you sign in and you put your password in, you'll go to another level of authentication to make sure it's you. And what that will do is it will send either an alert to your phone with a code, with an option that says, do you want to allow this connection? You click yes. If you don't have that option on your phone, it will send you a text message with a code, or you can get it ring you with an actual code. You put that code in, and it will then log you in, and that passes you through the secondary authentication of your account. And that is the one thing that will secure your account. Nothing's ever going to be 100%, but it's better than not having it on at all, and it will make sure that your account's secure.
And that comes free of charge with Microsoft 365?
Yeah, any 365 account, you get the basic MFA option on it, and it is very simple to enable. You just got to turn it on, sign in, and set it up, and that's pretty much it. There's nothing, it's not long-winded, but support are here to help if you need any help with it.
Fantastic. Thanks, Martin. Okay, so to wrap this up then, as we said at the beginning, SMS has been helping people work from home since 2006, and many of us work from home as well, so we really do know what we're doing, and happy to advise any of our customers on working from home and the applications they need, and just give us a call. We have a full UK-based help desk, so people will speak English, and you'll be able to hopefully understand them. And we're all using these solutions, so we really do know any of the problems that you might experience, and we'll be on hand to help you do that. We know that this is a difficult time, so look, this isn't all about just selling applications to people or anything else. If you're a client of SMS, just give us a call, and whatever solutions you need or problems you're going through, we'll be happy to help. And thank you very much indeed for watching. This is one of a series of webinars that we do on a regular basis. You can download the others from our website, and indeed, if you have any suggestions for future seminars, please just send them in or let us know. And again, thank you very much, Martin. That was fantastic.
No problem. Thanks very much.
Thanks. Goodbye.